well, we are glad that you're still with us right here on the Morning Express. We are now on to the lifestyle section, and this is where we talk about different things every single day. Today, we are targeting those of us who've been looking for a job and maybe you've never got one. You've been wondering, what do I do wrong? What is it that I need to do? Maybe there's some of you who are at home right now very frustrated, wondering, when will I ever clinch that job that I've been dreaming about? And we do know that jobs in Kenya are a big problem. They're quite scarce, but sometimes it's not because that they're scarce, but maybe your presentation, how you apply for the job, might be the problem. So today we'd like to help you and empower you. But before I introduce my guests who are with me here in the studio, I went out and about to just find out from Kenyans who are very hardworking out there what they think of the job market and looking for a job. And well, here's what we gathered.
Some of the challenges is that you'll find that if you don't know anybody in this industry, it is very hard for you to get a job. You must have a connection. Yeah, that from the investigation I've done, you must know a person in the industry. You cannot come from anywhere and you're there. It is very difficult.
People say you have to have experience. The jobs you apply, you have to have like 5 years experience. But now, how will I get the experience when I never get the job in the first place? Yeah.
I guess kulingana na offices, like unaweza enda ku apply job, unapata most of them wanataka bribe, to be bribed, unaona? That's why inatuma wase wana lose hope.
I'm doing business. I'm not currently like employed, so I work for myself.
Have you ever looked for a job?
Yeah, I've looked for a job before. I've gone for interviews before. I got a job, but now after a short time, I got bored and quit because I wanted to do my own things. So, so I'm enjoying life because I'm doing what I like and what I love. Yeah. Somehow I like to say that people want to act somehow desperate for money because they want to overcharge you in the first place. They want to even be like they want to be there all the time, and if you've told someone it's like this job is just for 2 or 3 days or a week, they want to stay there, or they want to keep on pestering you, unless or instead of them waiting probably to hear from you again, they want to keep on asking and asking and asking, and finding a job nowadays it's not easy. So it's like now it's becoming a very big challenge. Even to those, even for us who are looking for contracts, they are there. They are there. It's something that, yeah.
Well, there you have it. Very, very varied views out there. And is it experience that makes you not get the job? Is it that you have to know somebody in the job market, in the industry, for you to get that job? Well, joining me is Mr. Patrick Mutisia, who's a talent specialist.
Yes,
welcome. And thank you for coming into the studio. I also have Maria, who has been job hunting for quite a while. Welcome to the studio, and thank you for coming as well.
Thank you.
I'll start with you, Maria. How long have you been looking for a job?
I've been looking for a job for 6 years now. Yes.
And is it 6 years of looking for a job, or did you get a job and maybe left and started looking again?
I got a job, but it wasn't something I liked. So I did it for 3 months and then I quit. So, but I've been jobless for 6 months. For 6 years.
6 years.
Sorry, yes.
How many interviews roughly have you attended?
Oh, many. I'd lose count if I started counting. Like, you go for an interview, you wait for feedback, you wait for them to get back to you, but they don't. There's some which they call and tell you like, oh, we liked you, but you didn't prove satisfactory for the position, and yeah,
okay.
Several.
And these jobs that you've been looking for, have you always applied for them through your CV, or is it somebody who maybe told you about the job and connected you to it?
Very few actually. I've been referred by someone to apply for the job. Most of them, you Google them, find them online and apply, you send your CV, either soft copy or hard copy. But generally, very few positions have been referred by someone like, hey, drop your CV here, yeah.
Okay. Now, are you looking for a specific job? Might that be the reason why you've not got a job, or have you reached a point where any job would do?
I've reached a point where any job will do.
And you still haven't got one?
I still haven't gotten one. It's crazy, yes.
All right. Patrick Mutisia,
yeah.
As a talent specialist, what exactly do you do?
Ours is, my job is just to look for that talent wherever it is, and connect or link that talent with a potential employer.
Okay.
And it has been wonderful.
All right. Now you've heard from people on the street and also from her that it is extremely difficult to get a job. For those who are job hunting, where does one start? What's the starting point?
I'll disagree or go to contrary that it is difficult to get a job, because
you're saying it's not difficult.
It is not difficult.
Okay.
These jobs are there. I always wake up in the morning, report to my station of work, and do quite a lot. And by the end of the day, I'm quite tired. Reason, looking for that talent and linking the talent to the potential employer. But then, if somebody is there in the streets or in town and whatever, looking for that job, then the question is, how do you get the job? How do you know where the job is? And then, above all, how do you brand yourself to be a potential job seeker to any potential employer?
Okay, we have a case study here.
Yes.
Literally, she's been looking for a job for 6 good years.
Yes.
She's attended interviews until she cannot remember, how many there are. She's reached a point where she's now no longer just looking for that specific job which she trained for,
Yes.
but she's gotten to a point where she'll take any job.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'll come to you, Maria. And the question is, first of all, what did you study?
I studied TV production.
TV production.
Yes, my passion is media. Yes.
And did you qualify? Did you finish your studies? Or
Oh, absolutely. Actually, for these 6 years that I've been outside, I've tried to up myself. Initially, I had a diploma from the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Now, this diploma took me 3 years. It's not like all the other diplomas, a diploma could take you like a year or 2, but I did this for 3 years. And after that, in these 6 years, I've gone back to school, and I'm now doing my undergraduate in Daystar University. Yeah.
Okay. And from the time you finished your school, did you specifically apply for a job in TV production, or was it general?
No, when I got out of school, I was so focused and, hopeful. So I was just applying media jobs. Somewhere along the line, I figured, this might not happen. So I started PR jobs, because PR is like my next, in my career path, it's like the next best thing. So, yeah, so PR jobs. Then it got to a point now it's just any job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done any internship from the time you left?
Yes, I have actually. I've done some internship in PR, but not media. So I still haven't gotten what I would have liked, what I really like. I still haven't gotten it.
Why didn't you do any internship in media? Is it because you didn't get?
Because I've never gotten an opportunity. I'm always applying, all the time, but I've never gotten an opportunity.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you tried maybe an option of volunteering?
No, I haven't tried volunteer work.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Patrick. Where is Maria going wrong?
It's unfortunate that she has been trying and getting some kind of interview invitation, I suppose so. But once you get interviewed, then there is no maybe positive feedback after the end. But I'll say this. The moment you apply for a job and the moment you get interview invitation, at that point, you are qualified and that job is yours.
The moment, okay.
The moment you see a job or you get it anyway, and then somebody calls you or invites you for the interview, at that point, as a talent specialist, we say it is your job. But the question is now, how do you brand yourself, present yourself to convince the person on the other end to say, wow, have it, this is the job offer. That disconnect is when we say, fine, she looks like it's okay, but no.
Something. Okay, maybe now that you've mentioned the branding,
Yes.
and Maria here has mentioned that she initially was getting some invites
Yes.
at media houses or for TV production,
Yes.
but she got to a point where it stopped. Is that
Yes.
so?
Yes.
How long did you get the interview invitations? before now it stopped and you go to a point where you thought, you know what, let me just take anything that comes?
For like the first, let's say between 1 and 2 years, immediately after I finished my diploma. Yes.
Okay. What's the connection point for Maria to get the... You've mentioned and you've said that at the point where her CV is taken and you're called for the interview, that job is yours. But before you are called, what's the connection point? What needs to be seen by you, who is a talent specialist, from her to connect and say, okay, this is her job, pending the interview?
Yeah, we call the CV an ambassador of a job seeker. If you like that ambassador, the CV now to represent you adequately to that potential employer, then you must dress the CV in a manner that is communicating on your behalf. Of course, it will not answer even the simple question like how old are you, but it should have a clear information about who this job seeker is, such that it can convince me as a talent specialist to invite the person for one-on-one. If I am convinced, then I put it aside and say, fine, can I have this one for a one-on-one? In the event whereby it's not well crafted, well done, then we are likely to make an opinion, because interviews at a point, what we call after interview gossips, once you are done with the interview, then as a panel you ask yourself, how do you see this particular person? We call them interview gossips.
Interview gossips.
And they are always just perceptions.
Okay.
About the
I'm still interested in the CV part, because I'm sure that's part of your brand. This is the first contact you have with your potential employer. Precisely. Before they even see you, before they know what you look like, how you behave, or anything.
Yes.
Now, you've mentioned that it needs to sell you to some degree. But I know as a talent specialist, you have a heap of curriculum vitae, and you must have a system of eliminating those that you'll not even read through the whole CV. And as a potential job seeker, I also stand the danger of putting too much information on a CV. What are the absolute necessary things that I need to put in my CV, and how do I put them so that you have enough time to know who I am, and at the same time, not too much that you think, okay, this is just too much, let me just put it aside.
In the job ad, there are some specific information the employer is seeking from the potential job seekers. And one of it might be, you'll find precisely the interested candidate should apply, give you their contact telephone numbers and updated CV. The word update is very key. And this is where people actually will go wrong, because we have the CV now in the soft, and we have it even in our desktop. Whenever we see the ad, we just have it and then attach and
send it.
Done. Even you'll have precisely have a cover letter. And the person will not read the cover letter. We just say, please attach see my CV for the above position. So that is one critical issue, because you did not even explain. You failed to follow instruction, because we are also looking for, because we have received 100 applications, and we need to be quite fair to choose the best.
And also do it in a minimal time.
And they also do it in a minimal time, because the time frame is too limited.
So are you saying that a cover letter in that case is not important?
It is important, because it was a requirement there. Cover letter and a detailed updated CV. You find somebody who just say, okay, fine, he was working in a company ABC and they moved. By then he was a window manager. Then, let's say we are looking for quite a regional position. Moved to another company, or still the same company, but moved in terms of positions, hierarchy in terms of positions. Then he's like a manager, senior manager, GM, for example. Then the person will not have updated that CV. So whenever I see it and go through it, and there is no cover letter even to tell me currently I'm So I look at it and see, okay, fine. This person was working at this particular company and this particular time is up to date, because by then the CV will say up to current, from 2010 up to date.
Okay,
manager.
so an important thing here to note is that when it's written updated CV,
Yes.
That's the first thing I need to make sure
should
that it's
reflect
updated.
who
Otherwise it
you
can
are
disqualify.
at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are the other things that I need to?
Other things are even the way the CV is structured. Some you find that it is quite disorganized.
How do you mean disability?
Disorganized in the sense that you might find that some words, some tests are missing, some are not well put in place, no alignment. So
Or even just the format.
the format. So as a talent specialist, I'm looking for a senior person or a potential staff. Then I'll ask myself, what about this person when it comes to report writing? It's a challenge.
If they can't do
If
just
they
the
can't do,
CV.
if they can't do well something which represent the person, then I put a question mark and say, wow, this is not something.
All right. While we're still on an updated CV, we have Maria here.
Yep.
6 years on,
Yep.
she's still not got a job
Okay.
of what she's looking for.
Yep.
If I was an employer, maybe that might be a negative thing, the fact that how come you've not been working for 6 years?
Yeah.
What can Maria do on her CV, and what does she need to do so that it's updated? She's not lying, but at the same time, it gives her a chance to get the interview.
What I'll advise her, seek a specialist. Like where I am, we do CV writing. We can guide the candidate on how to craft or put a CV which can sell the person. And then from there, try it. And I tell you, within the next, you won't apply for more than 3 jobs without getting invitation. And if you will miss the job, I'll tell you it is just at the point of maybe salary negotiation.
Okay. But what does she need to put in that CV? What are just some highlights?
I wish I could have it because sometimes we say, or we look at it, because there's a bit of, and you have seen the person in the streets there say 5 years relevant experience.
Right.
You might find that the person who, because some people don't even update the CV, that's very critical. And I worked in this particular industry. But the way I put the duties and the responsibility, by then, it is not showing some kind of connectivity to the job and the industry and the sector I'm applying for. So at that point, because we have massive application, and I'll just look at it and see a very straightforward application, a CV, then I'll say this stands a better chance. Yeah.
Okay. On branding, once now Maria has managed to get the interview,
Yes.
According to you as a talent specialist, and I'm assuming this is on behalf of the employer,
Yeah.
the job is hers,
Yes.
but pending the interview.
Yeah.
Now, how does she prepare for the interview?
That is now the bitter or the
greatest
happiest,
challenge.
the bitter and difficult challenge, or on the other side, the
the sweet
contrary,
and sour.
the sweet, the sweet and sour.
Virtual, yeah.
Yeah. Once you get to, you have got the invitation, then you need to go and sit down, and then possibly have the JD, the job ad, the way it was, and look at it. Then ask yourself, how do I fit? Because it must be a
They must marry.
fit. You must fit to that. Then you need to go and look for, know the company. Do quite a lot of information about the company.
Background check on the
The
company.
background check. Even know the current issues about the company. Know the success story of the company and the challenges, because once in the interview, you need to say, fine, I'm passionate about this particular company because I've seen what you have done and this is what, but I've also seen some challenges where I can now bring my value to address those challenges.
All right, I'll stop you then. Maybe just take a call from Daniel in Nairobi. Good morning, Daniel. Your question or your comments, please?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, I just got interested in your topic today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've been looking for a job for some time now.
How long?
3 3.5 years.
3 years.
Yeah, the thing is, I finished my school, my master's.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately after that, I joined a bank as a management trainee.
Mm-hmm.
I got up, became a bank manager, a branch manager. But due to some reasons, I quit. I had to resign.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately after that, I went for looking for a university job teaching. I got one. Immediately after that, I got one. But after that, I've tried to move to other universities. I haven't gotten anything yet. I've tried to look for a job like a permanent job. I got to an interview. Like one of them, they told me it's like I look desperate, one thing. I've got other ones, they tell me like you've qualified, but after that they don't communicate, they don't tell me anything. I'm just wondering, is it that my CV is too good than what I do, the way I present myself, and what can I do about it? That was my question actually.
All right. Thank you very much, David in Nairobi. I'll take another call from Professor Buisa, sorry. Professor Buisa, good morning. Thank you for calling. What are your comments or your questions, sir?
Good morning.
Morning to you.
My name is Professor Buisa. I teach entrepreneurship at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a very good and interesting session you're having.
Thank you.
I want one or two comments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this issue of complain that you want experience and I've never worked before, so where do I get experience? The answer is the answer lies in how to write your CV. First, when you are in college, you did some practicals, you did some attachments, that is experience. You probably do not include it in your CV. The problem also is that some of our students, when we give them those practical sessions, when they go to attachment, they normally don't take that very serious. And that is where you are now gaining your experience. Suppose you came up to an interview and say that while I was in attachment, I solved this problem at this workplace. That is already experience. So the idea is probably even us back at the university, at the trainers, the way we train our students, the way we train them how to write their CVs, it comes to question. So this is probably a wider issue than just a person looking for employment. So that's it. Yes, before you leave the university, before you leave your college, you have already gained experience and you need to reflect that experience in your CV.
Correct.
Whenever you are given any practical, whenever you are given an attachment, you take it serious, you go to that attachment place, identify a problem, work on it, and use it as your experience when you're looking for a job. Number two.
Very quickly.
Pardon?
Yeah, very quickly.
Okay, very quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm advising this lady to go and look for employment and say, I want to work for free. Every time we go for employment, we want a salary. Say, after all, we have been looking for this employment for a long time. Now, you have already lost or you have not lost. Go and say, I want to work for you for free. And then put your best foot forward. Work for 3 months, and they will see you up. Then they say, I'm now resigning. They will tell you, don't go.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you. Patrick, two things there. Okay, there is Daniel who called earlier on, and he seems to have had a number of jobs. He's worked in a bank. He's now looking for a permanent job. And one of the things I noted that he said when he attends an interview, and we're talking about branding, is that one of his potential employers said that he looked desperate. That's probably down to branding. What might he have done wrong?
Precisely. Actually, in a case where you have looked for a job for quite a long time without getting any success, you look to like, I'm desperate. And you don't know, now you fail to manage that stage. And when you appear in an interview session, then you show it off.
The desperation.
The desperation. And then guys look like, oh, this one looks like, because I told you after the end of all that, it's about perception, about the fit of this particular candidate to this particular job. And if you are not able to do that, then you look at it. There's a case of, I've seen, because various sectors. For example, if you have worked in a bank for some time and you are out of it and possibly resign, banks are not like any other sector. And the people ask themselves, that job seeker there, the employer, why would this person just resign in a very good job, and how do you resign from a job and then you are looking for a job? There are questions there.
So that leaves question mark.
That leaves a question.
Okay.
In banking sector, not like many other sectors, if you have issues of integrity, for example, not the case of Daniel, for example, I hope so, but if you have cases of integrity, banks will not put it in public, but they just might let you go.
Let you go.
Yes.
All right. That's mainly to do with banking. There's also what Professor has mentioned here, the importance of including your internship and practicals as experience. Does that work?
Precisely. When the job seekers who come to where I work and are looking for how can they increase their visibility in terms of job hunting and the success in terms of getting a job, I ask them, where did you work? I worked in company ABC. What were you doing? I was the customer care executive. Then tell me what we are doing. Somebody will tell me I was receiving calls, answering calls, directing this, answering queries. But then I ask this person, in that particular time, did you have a painting in the wall, or just painting the whatever hole you are washing, and somebody comes in, and what will happen if the floor is slippery? Okay, I'll let the person know it's a slippery wall, so I'll put a warning. Then another function you are doing was issue about safety. So there are so many functions we do, and then you can put in your resume or your CV, and they market you quite
they
well.
come down to experience.
Yes.
All right. Professor also mentioned that one thing that Maria could do is work for free. Maria, maybe I'll ask you the question. You've been looking for a job for 6 years. Are you willing to work for free?
Oh yes, I'm so willing to work for free, but the job that I can work for free and not feel a pinch is in line with my career, like with my passion. That's media or public relations. I can take a job. I can work for free.
Would you do any other
day.
job for free, or it's just those two?
I'll tell you what, I've worked and I've been paid at a call center, being paid well, and I couldn't do the job for more than 2 months. I quit because my heart wasn't in there. I was just doing it for the money. At the end of the day, it's not about the money. You know, it comes down to that. It's not about the money. You can be paid so much, but if you're not there, like you don't have passion for it, it doesn't matter.
Patrick, how important is that to a potential employer when she says for her she's, it's more about passion, it's not about the money. She quit a job which was well paying. Does that sound like a story you would buy as a talent specialist?
Yeah, that is quite okay. And that's why you can hear the professor say, even give a volunteer service to any potential, so long as you feel passionate about it. Because sometimes I even tell candidates this: if you are looking for a job and maybe your qualifications are in a different line, for example, you are an accountant and you have been in a sales job, let's say the sales job might be paying 60,000 Kenya shilling, and then you get that job of an accountant in your line of speciality but pay then 40,000 Kenya shillings. I will recommend you leave the sales job and get the account, because it will build your career, your experience, and you will move.
It almost comes natural.
Yes, because that's the whatever, the line you are. Alternatively, you can now say goodbye to the finance issue, and then you go to the sales side, but then you'll be required to go back to school to support. Yeah.
All right. Now that you're talking about money, and I see that time is running out, something you mentioned that you may go for an interview and sometimes you fail at the point of salary negotiation.
Yeah.
And that's normally a very tricky issue because sometimes they ask you how much are you expecting.
Yeah.
How does one, balance without necessarily sounding desperate and also not shortchanging yourself?
Out of research and a lot of experience in the market, because we also do salary surveys, I've come to realize that there's a way you can just calculate your salary, because you might give a figure and then the employer might ask you, how do you arrive at that? And the formula I've always used is that 3/4 of your current plus the current will give expected pay, but you negotiate downwards, because rarely will an employer double your salary unless you have, it's a special case, special, unique talent, technical. That's why you find they might double. But in a real sense, it is that formula will give you a finger, but then you negotiate downwards.